Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Five Guys fast food restaurant in Minecraft. And not only will I show you how to make the outside of your restaurant, but I'll show you how to make the entire inside as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. Now, just before we start building everybody, here are all of the materials that we will need to make our Five Guys. Please make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make Five Guys is a 27 by 29 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground. I'd highly recommend making the grid if you are planning out a city. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to, grab all that stuff, make sure you got enough room to make it, make sure you're ready, and once you are, we can begin. Step 1, burger and fries, friends. Come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid. If you made it, count backwards from the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then to the right, 1, 2. Begin the build by placing 8 bricks on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Join that 4th brick down to the ground. And then take that brick that hit the ground and extend it right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place a white concrete block behind the brick. Extend the white concrete upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Extend right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then join down to the ground. You then want to place a brick in front of the white concrete. Extend the brick to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then upwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then join all the way down to the ground. Like this. That will give us this shape right here. Once you have created this shape, we want to do this exact thing to both sides of the build. We want to take the upper brick blocks on both sides of the build and we want to extend them backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll then join the 4th block down to the ground. We will then take those 4th blocks and we will place a white concrete block inwards and to the right of them and extend the white concrete backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place a brick block in front of and to the right of the white concrete and then extend upwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend that 7th block backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then join all the way down to the ground, just like this. We will then extend that same block that we extended to the ground across the back of the build by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once again, we'll join that 4th block all the way down to the ground to give us this result right here. And I did make a point to let you guys know that we are going to be doing that exact same thing all the way over on the other side as well. So no matter what side you started on, we'll be doing the same thing to the opposite side. So we're going to take this upper corner and extend backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then join it all the way down to the ground, just like this. Grab your white concrete and place white concrete inwards and backwards in relation to the bricks. Extend the white concrete backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place a brick in front of and to the left. Extend up by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to join that fourth block all the way down to the ground. But in addition to that, we want to extend that fourth block across the back of the build again by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to join it all the way down to the ground. So we will have something that is equal on both sides of the build, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm quite happy with that. What we then want to do in regards to the back of the build is we want to join the bricks together on both sides, kind of like this. And what we also want to do is we want to take all of the brick pillars that we have kind of created all over the place, and we want to join them together to kind of create towers in each one of the four corners of our restaurant. So if you just join all of the tops of the, I'll call them towers, together using your bricks like this, then that would be pretty good. We then want to fill the tops of the towers in using bricks. An alternate idea to this is to fill them in with glass, although I'm pretty sure that we're going to be adding a false ceiling in the roof anyway, so it won't really make a difference other than like looking from the top. Now that we have done all of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to recommend that you also join the corners down to the ground, the last remaining corner. Pretty much when it comes to the pillars that we've kind of created, all of the towers, we are just missing the one last corner that's joined down to the ground. We'll actually be deleting some of it a little bit later, but it just helps us to kind of like have this shape to plan out the build a little bit. So for the next step of this build, we're going to chuck our glass pane away for a little bit and we're going to grab glass block. When it comes to all of the towers, we want to take the outer part of the towers. So let's take the front left hand corner for instance, and we want to have a set of 3 by 3 glass on the outer showing parts of the towers, so kind of like this. The glass block is going to sit inwards in relation to all of the bricks that we've placed. We're also going to join the bricks together at the bottom using some leaves. We're going to dig in between the bottom of the tower and place leaves in there instead because I think that it looks kind of cool. It's just a little design feature. We're going to place red wool above and outside of the black glass like this. And then we're going to do something which is rather tricky to do, but the goal for this is to place string in such a way that we can then place red carpet on top of said string. And the red carpet is just going to kind of sit below, but kind of like out of the bottom of the red wool, kind of like that. So you've got to actually place the string like below and in front of the wool. And that's the positioning that you're actually looking for, and it'll actually look quite cool. And we want to then place bricks to kind of like seal up the upper part of the build. We're only focusing on the outside parts for the moment. Reason being is because we've got a lot of walls to add as well. So as you guys can see, this is the sort of setup that we're looking for every single corner of the tower. The 2 outer showing parts of the tower all want to have the glass. So that means placing a layer of 3 by 3 glass just in the bottom inside of the tower. We then want to have red wool above and outside. We want to have oak leaves on the outer, kind of sort of still inside portion of the tower, kind of like this. And then we want to place the string in such a fashion, or if you can find a better way to do it, although I don't think there is. I think that string is probably the easiest way to accomplish what we're trying to do. You place the string and you place your, your red carpet on top. Once that's been accomplished, you're more than welcome to fill the rest of the tower in with bricks. And it leads to quite an interesting building design, not one that we've used yet for any sort of fast food restaurant. And this is going to continue on until all 4 of our towers have been done. So just to keep reminding you of the process along the way, because there is quite a few steps, isn't there? We place the glass, and we place the wool above it. We place the leaves in the ground. We also want to be able to place carpet just below the red just below the red wall that we're using as kind of like a canopy. Is quite the building that I actually modeled this on is an actual Five Guys restaurant that I managed to find on Google Images. It's not just something that I randomly created out of my mind. I obviously had to adapt it to Minecraft, but I wanted some authenticity, so hence why you might actually in some part of the world see a building that looks exactly like this. And this is the final tower now. Start off with the glass like this. I'm going to add the leaves in now. I really like the leaves. I think it's kind of cool to have them dug into the ground. We're going to have the red wool above, and we're going to then place, of course, the carpet. But that is something that I find really cool about these builds in particular. It is an older style of building, which, number one, classics can't really be beaten. I like the older classic McDonald's than I do the newer style of building. And it's cool that you might literally have one of these that looks like this in your town or city or wherever, so it's kind of cool that you might actually run into it. So this is what we should have so far, ladies and gentlemen. It looks a little bit weird at the moment. We'll be solving that problem in a bit. So what are we now going to do? I'm just going to mark out the entrance a little bit. So this big white area here at the front middle of the building, I just want you to place black concrete inside and around the empty white concrete space like this. What I also want you to do is I want you to use white concrete, and I want you to extend the door frame left and right using your white concrete. This is how we're going to build up the walls inside and, well, outside of the restaurant, like this. Perfect. We're going to make the white concrete as high. That's actually wrong. We're going to make the white concrete one row lower than the bricks themselves. So this is kind of how it's going to look. And that same white concrete kind of wants to be applied to every single other side. On the left and right side of the build, it doesn't really matter because we already have the white concrete rows anyway. Simply raise up those white concrete rows until, you guessed it, the white concrete is one row lower than the top of the build itself. On the back portion of the build, we are going to have to add this row of white concrete in manually. And when it comes to the back, it's the same sort of thing. So simply place a row of white concrete behind the long row of bricks, and then extend the white concrete, extend the white concrete upwards until it's pretty much equivalent to all of the other white concrete rows like so. We're not going to add a roof in just yet because we've got some interior work to do, but if we wanted to, we could seal up the roof. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that we have now applied all of the walls now. So it's starting to pull itself together. There are details on many of the walls though. So for instance, when it comes to the front of our Five Guys, we have two windows. These windows are positioned directly above the bricks. They are one row away from the entrance, and they are a 2x2 space like this. You're going to have to place something behind the bricks to place the windows on. I would highly recommend using glass pane because it creates depth. We've got a little bit of it in the build already, but this is where the windows are positioned, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to make them a little bit bigger if you would like to kind of like fill out the space on the entrance. An important key part of the windows with pretty much I think every single one of them is the fact that we've got red carpet above them, so you're going to have to place some string. We even want this sort of effect here above the door, so we want to have like string in front of the empty space in front of the door, and we want to have like red carpet above it. It's easiest if you place something and then the string in front and then delete, like that. Leaving a gap of 1 above the left window to the right window, you want to destroy 2 entire rows. Now that instruction may have been vague, but I think you might now be able to see what I'm talking about. You want to destroy 2 rows and replace those 2 rows using red concrete. This will create a banner, or a place that we are able to place a series of banners that will allow us to brand this building Five Guys. Now that you have done that to the front, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to whip around to the left side and the right side, and we're going to do a little bit more detailing. So basically, on both sides, you want to have if you start from the bottom left-hand corner here with the white concrete, you want to move inwards 1, 2, up 1, destroy the 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll have a perfectly balanced window that has 1 row below it. You simply destroy 2 rows above, like this, place red wool in the top window, place 2 rows of glass in the 2 remaining spaces, you place string in front of the top set of windows and some red carpet on top of the string. There you go. Window 1. Let's do the same on the other side. So on the other side, basically start here on the bottom left hand side or the bottom right, doesn't matter. Count inwards 1, 2, upwards, destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, and then destroy 2 rows above. The second row above, we are going to place red wool, and we are going to, we're going to place some black stained glass pane in the empty space like this. And then the string, there we go. And then the red carpet, like that. So, looking pretty good. There's actually no details on the back because if we come to the back of the build just a little second, it's got quite a bit of detailing on it already, and there's not really any room for windows here, although we might be able to add 1 or 2. You'll see why I haven't chosen to do that when we actually do get to the inside, but hey. What I now want to do is I kind of want to clean up the inside of the build a little bit. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to grab some oak planks. So the entire floor for the inside of our Five Guys wants to be ripped out and replaced using oak planks. Exactly like this. So when you do replace the floor of your Five Guys, I would highly recommend digging under all of the glass and also replacing it with your flooring material. Otherwise it'll look a little bit weird in contrast to everything else. So now that the floor has been replaced, and I'm sorry about having to cut that out, it's a very lengthy process, I didn't want to add time to the video. We can now work on the walls a little bit better. So when it comes to the walls, we kind of want to like fill in all of these white concretes here. Like we want to even out all of this white concrete. We want to join it to the ground wherever it hasn't. We want to bring the bricks forward around the windows where the bricks already on, and we want to place like bricks and encase the windows in like this. You can even destroy the bricks that we kind of have like that we kind of have extended up from the ceiling like this. You can just destroy a few rows if you find that they get in your way, like this. So we just kind of want to encase all of the windows in with brick, and then that will bring everything kind of like forward a little bit. So everything will kind of like be smoothed out, which is good because the inside of the restaurant is actually quite a little bit hectic. So let's just for continuity, let's destroy all of this, and you can see that everything's quite smoothed out now, and I'm quite happy about that. So what we also want to do is we want to take the bricks in the corners of the build, and we kind of want to extend the bricks like around, and we kind of want to create like corners. We kind of want to create features of the 2 front corners of the room. We're actually not going to be doing this at the back whatsoever. But when it comes to the front corners of the room, what we also want to do is we want to place a diagonal row of bricks here, extending out from the corner of the extended corner, and we want to extend the bricks upwards a little bit, like this. So we want to do this on both sides to create some pillars. Now, the reason that we have created those pillars is that we can place red concrete to kind of fill in the area in between the bricks and the wall that we have just created by using the pillar, and the bricks and the red concrete will also extend like towards the back of the build from the corner like 1, 2, and also across the front 1, 2 as well. So we're kind of just creating little seating areas by doing this. So we fill in this crevice using some red concrete, and we just extend the red concrete like this, just to kind of like fill in said crevices, like so. And I think that it might be a good idea to install the ceiling now too. So the ceiling is made out of bricks, and the lights are going to be redstone lamps. the brick ceiling is going to be built directly above the door, and it's actually kind of like tricky to place because we've got to place all of the bricks in between stuff. You can use a different material for the ceiling if you like, by the way, but the interior ceiling for our Five Guys is placed, as I said, directly above the door, kind of like this. I think in placing this, it'll actually make it a lot easier to do the little bits of interior that we're actually doing right now, because I want to take full advantage of the materials that we actually have on us, and then later on we won't have to grab as many or even do as much work as we would have if we didn't lay these foundations. I always love it when we can like build most of an interior using all of the outside materials. It really does just make and streamline things a little bit easier. So there we go. It probably would have been easier to do everything that we had just done as well, should we have had the ceiling. But hey, my bad. So let's place all of these bricks here, and you'll see that the restaurant is, you can still see inside here thanks to all of the windows, but now that we have sealed everything up, you can see that we really have created kind of like an interesting dynamic here at the front of the build. What we also want to do is we want to, coming towards the back of the restaurant, we want to leave a gap of 1, and we also want to place another red concrete along the sides of the build like this. And in doing that, we kind of want to place another row of bricks as well. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of like figure out where the bricks goes, but you know where we have these pillars here in between these two booths. If you extend from the pillar backwards by 1, 2, 3, and then inwards 1, 2, and then 3 like this, you want to place your brick pillars here. So just to reiterate that, you take the pillar and you go back like 1, 2, 3, and then go left like 1, 2, 3, and that's where you place the pillars. So it's kind of in like a random position, but it just works out very well with the rest of the interior. What we also want to do towards the back of the build, we want to make like where you would order your food and all of that. So we're going to grab our red concrete, and we're going to place rows of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete extending outwards from the sides of the white concrete area. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to join the third blocks together, left to right like this, to kind of like make this sort of shape. And what we're then going to do is we're just going to create a series of units across the back here. So starting from the left, we'll leave, say, like a gap of 3, like 1, 2, 3, and then we'll place like a row of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll leave like another gap of 3, and then we'll just place like a singular white concrete, and that sets us up quite nicely to place some stuff inside the restaurant. Just on the right side here, just right of this counter space, we're going to have a row of 1, 2, 3 red concretes like this. You could even make it 4, but I think 3 slots in quite nicely. And we're just going to have condiments there. You could even have condiments also on this this left side here, because it's actually quite balanced, our Five Guys on the inside. So you could actually have the same thing on both sides. So now that we've done that, we've done most of the work that we can do with the materials that we have, and we'll outfit the rest of this place a little bit later. But what we're going to do is add some lighting. So we're going to need redstone lamps, block of redstone, and some white concrete. And you guys can kind of see where all the seats are going to go. The seats are going to be attached to the red concrete areas. So the lighting is going to, we're going to have some lighting just kind of like in the middle of the restaurant. So let's start off by leaving, say, like a gap of 2 above the middle of the door, and then this is where light 1's going to go. Then we're going to leave a gap of 2, light 2 can go there. Gap of 2, light 3 can go there. Gap of 2, light 4 can actually go directly above the counter space. And then we can kind of like leave another gap of 2 like that, gap of 2 like that. Gap of 2 here, gap of 2 here, and that will actually keep the restaurant rather bright. We can use lanterns elsewhere, so all we'll do is we'll pop up in the ceiling here, we'll place all of these redstone blocks, or blocks of redstone, like this, and we will pop down one of the holes, the last hole, block of redstone above us, and then we can just place all of these lamps, and that will keep things sufficiently bright with the windows and also the lanterns that we will be placing later. Because the lanterns do kind of set the scene. You see what I mean? Isn't that quite nice? That sets the scene quite nicely. And that's the inside, mostly, of our 5 guys. Of course, there's more things to do, ladies and gentlemen, but that's a lot of it done, actually. So let's head outside here. And the next thing that I want to do, now that we've created most of the outside, and a lot of the inside too, is the dreaded banner. My least favourite part of any build is making the banner. So, we're going to chuck all this away. I'm going to be using a loom. I'm so sorry if you don't have a loom. Get one. We're going to grab a loom. We're going to need banners, white dye, red dye. We're going to chuck the loom on the ground. We're going to crack open said loom. And it's actually a little bit easier if we move, like, chuck the loom in the inventory. Shuffle things around so that you can place the dyes and the banners at the top, like this. So if we can just place it up above, I don't want to quick move it because it will mess things up. And we're going to start off by placing a singular banner in the loom, along with some white dye. The first letter we have to make is F. So we place this shape here on the left side of the banner, the vertical white stripe. Grab the new banner, chuck it back in the loom, and we place horizontal top white stripe. Grab the new banner, place it back in the loom, and we place the horizontal mid white stripe. And that is actually F. It's as easy as that. It's much easier than using a crafting table. Grab a new banner, place it right in the loom, and we need an I. So this is basically just a vertical strip of white dye straight up the middle, like this. We place that next to the F, and we place a new banner in the loom. Now, we have to make V. It's actually easy. We're going to place a vertical row of white dye on the left side, grab the new banner, and then we're going to place a diagonal bottom left to top right corner of white dye, like this. And then that will be V. When it comes to E, it's quite easy as well. It's like F, but with an extra step. We place the vertical row of white on the left side, grab the new banner, and then we systematically place the horizontal top white row. We place the, the mid white row, and then we finish up by placing the bottom white row, and then that will be E. There we go. Grab a new banner. Place it right in the loom, not in the middle of anywhere. Place it in the loom, and this is actually, I would say, the most difficult shape. It's going to be G. We want to place the horizontal. We want to place the vertical row of white on the right side of the banner. We're going to grab the new banner, place it back in the loom, but now we're going to need red dye. The red dye is going to be placed in there, and we are going to place a half layer of red dye like this. So top half is going to be red. We're going to grab that new banner. We're going to then chuck the white dye back in here like this, and then we're going to place the horizontal row of white at the bottom of the banner. Place it back in. We're going to place the vertical row of white dye on the left side. Put it back in. We're going to place the horizontal row of white along the top. And that is G, the hardest letter that we have to make. We now have to make U. That's really easy too. So brand new banner. Place a horizontal row of white at the bottom. Grab that. And then we place a vertical row of white on the left. And we place a vertical row of white on the right. Just like that. It's quite intuitive to make once you start building these. So Y is actually the second hardest letter because it also involves a bit of red. So when it comes to Y, we're going to place a diagonal row of white dye, top left corner to bottom right. We're going to grab that banner, we're going to chuck it back in. We're going to place white dye here. And then once again, we're now going to place red dye on the lower half of the banner. So we're going to kind of like remove half of the banner, grab that, place it back in, swap the white dye with the red or red with the white, however you want to say it, and then you place the opposite diagonal, so top right corner to bottom left corner using the white dye, and that is Y. All that leaves is S, so that's going to be a brand new and our last banner in here, dead easy as well, so white dye along the top, whoops, hang on, white dye along the top, white dye along the bottom, And then you just got to find the right diagonal. It's this one here, the top left to bottom right. And then that is your S. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you then place, starting from the left side here, across the top of the doorway, place F-I-V-E space G-U-Y-S. Five Guys. And that really brings things together. Very well done, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a crowning achievement. This is quite literally a crowning achievement. It is kind of like at the top of the door to place the sign. It always makes me very happy. So the next thing that we have to do, now that we've got all of these banners, is we have to do some outdoor work. We're going to use smooth stone for this, tulips, or any red flower, leaves. We also need grey concrete and white concrete. Oh, and we haven't even got a door, so you might want to grab a dark oak door. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to chuck a dark oak door here where the door is. So I want to create pathways. There is going to be one path that is 3 rows wide that leads from leads from the doorway to the outer boundaries of our grids. I have lost the ability to talk, and it's hilarious. So the smooth stone leads all the way from the entrance all the way to the outer path. We're going to have 2 entire rows of smooth stone extending around our restaurant. So 2 entire rows, pretty much unbroken, of smooth stone all the way around like this. It goes, I don't know how better way to say it is, the smooth stone goes all the way around the outside, everywhere. I guess, depending upon the positioning, you don't really have to have the smooth stone go literally all the way around, although that is your personal choice, so you do you. Perfect. You can see where those paths are going to go. In addition to this, we are going to have red tulips just below the windows on the left and right sides of the build. Why did I choose red? Because it's placed directly against the white, and we kind of have a theme going here, don't we? So I kind of like the red with the white. It's quite nice. We have a very consistent color scheme. What else do we want to do? Well, there is going to be left and right of the end of the path. There is going to be a little, how do I say? It's a little sort of garden / hedge area, and basically it's going to have a circular or more rectangular layer of red tulips. You could even use white because it doesn't matter too much. And we're going to place leaves in the center. So just to kind of like make a feature of the path leading you into Five Guys, that's exactly what that's for. Left and right of the hedge, we're going to have a series of car parking spaces. These are very simple. Basically, 1 row of white concrete that leads from the edge of the path to the smooth stone path, 3 rows of grey, 1, 2, 3, white concrete, 3 rows of grey, white concrete. Those will be extended towards the smooth stone path. Same thing on both sides. We already have some white concrete placed for us, so that's quite convenient. You guys get the idea though, right? They're going to be extended and joined to Five Guys. When it comes to the roof for Five Guys, it's actually incredibly simple. I've inadvertently made a cross, haven't I? That's actually kind of creepy to look at. I mean, if you do the same thing and somebody accidentally knocks into your roof and finds that, it's a little bit, I don't like that. I might have to change that. That looks a little bit creepy. Anyway, the roof's going to be filled in completely with white concrete. The white concrete, as you can imagine, is just going to spread across the entire top of the build like this. It's all just going to join together. So, our path ahead of us, and quite literally a path, is clear. We fill the roof in, we make the car parking spaces, we add the smooth stone, and then we can work on the inside. I'm going to get all of that done, and it's going to be done quite magically, right about... There we go, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I have done all of those things that I described. Five Guys now has a path that goes all the way around the outside of it. It has a white concrete roof, and as we loop back around, we now have car parking spaces, and we also have some hedges and some flowers and stuff. So that is pretty much the entire outside complete. The last little thing that we have to do now is head on inside, and we have to apply all of those remaining details that we couldn't earlier because we didn't have all of those materials. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to finish our 5 guys, here are the last remaining materials that we are going to be using to finish off the inside of our restaurant. There may be some repeat materials that we could have actually have used, but for the most part, I think that these are all brand new. Please make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of those, and then we can finish the inside here. Alright, let's do it. So the first detail that I want to add inside of here, now that we have all of our new materials, is I want to create the part where the food is, and where you would go and order and all of that fun stuff. So, along this back wall, we're going to have a series of places to cook. So, in these crevices, we're going to place, say, a couple of different furnaces and a cauldron, and we'll do this on both sides, so a couple of furnaces and a cauldron, kind of like this. Above the furnaces, I like the idea of having some detector rails that kind of look like a grill. I like the idea of having iron trapdoors above the cauldrons, and that's looking pretty good. Along here too, we're going to have drinks machines, so brewing stands, and we're going to have some pots, so those are cups, and some pickles, those are also cups, and we're also going to place buttons on the outsides of all of the white concrete too, to kind of look like cupboards or cabinets or whatever. What we're also going to do is place quartz slab in between here, in between the outer layer of red concrete, and then that will kind of just look a little bit more professional. And what else can we do? We can add some cups to the outer parts of our... Oh, you can't place it on the quartz slabs for some reason, but we can place some like pickles and stuff, and those are just cups. And you can even add flowers and stuff like that if you like. We're going to chuck all of these away, and we're going to grab, what do we have here? So, painting, signs, lanterns, tripwire hook, item frame, red dye, yellow dye, red carpet, and some quartz stairs. So I like the idea of having a couple of cash registers. These can, I think I'm going to place them where the pillars are. So where the brick pillars are, we're going to have the cash registers, kind of like there. You see, we've got some cups and everything kind of spread around. If you want to, you can add some lanterns to both corners, or maybe just one corner of our kind of like countertop area. You could even place them a little bit backwards. It doesn't matter too much. You can do what you like. Above the employee area, we're going to have some signs, and we're going to have some paintings. We'll probably place the paintings first because they're a little bit tricky. So what basically, we're going to have like a sign here, starting from the left, like above where this furnace is. The sign's going to be here. Actually, we can place the sign first. Sign, right, and then it's going to be painting, gap, sign, painting, gap, sign, painting, gap, sign, painting. And then that way, if you use the standard 1x1 painting, kind of like this, yeah, wait, hang on, here and then here, if you use a standard 1x1, we almost got all different ones, a standard 1x1, then you can have different painting, and you can put obviously like burgers in there, or what you can do is you can put like item frames, and you can put chicken and beef and stuff. But I like the idea of just having pictures. I mean, you've got to use your imagination obviously, but you could even, if you wanted to kind of like accent the room, you could even perhaps stick these quartz stairs on the end. I don't know, maybe even here in between. I kind of did that, and I kind of liked the look of it. I kind of still do. I sort of like that, and I don't know why. Maybe I'll connect it down to here, to the countertop. I don't know whether I like that or not. You guys will have to do that for yourselves or not. That'll be up to you. I'm going to lead a layer of red carpet all the way from the entrance of our fast food restaurant, and the red carpet is going to lead to the sides. It's going to lead to this left side here where the condiments are. It's going to cover up that horrible gap that we have, and it's going to lead to the left side here where the condiments are as well. We also have to break into the employee area, which is going to be here. You can place a trapdoor, or don't even bother if you don't want. Maybe the carpet can go all the way back to the wall too, and that kind of just like leads you to where you've got to be in terms of the carpet. Now, when it comes to these sides areas, which is actually kind of funny, sides areas, because we're going to have condiments. Basically, we're just going to have a a few tripwire hooks, just a couple of tripwire hooks. Above each tripwire hook, we're going to have like an item frame, and that can say be ketchup, that can be mustard. We're going to do this on both sides, so like again, ketchup or mustard. You could have barbecue sauce, you know, you could use a brown dye or whatever you like for that as well. And if you wanted to do that, then of course you can place your cups as well. So like you could have a cup for the sauce, or maybe some other stuff as well that we could use for our meal. And then that's basically like that's like a lot of detail added. It's quite nice on this side. I like the feel of it. We have to add a lot of tables, so the tables are all going to be made in a similar-ish sort of fashion. We need birch fence, weighted pressure plates, we're going to need quartz stairs, and then we kind of have to decorate around a little bit, so flower pots, pickles, lanterns, maybe even some paintings and stuff. So as I mentioned earlier, where we have all of these red concretes, we want to have seats. So we're going to place quartz stairs along the insides here of the red concrete corners that we kind of created at the start of the build. We're going to place birch fence in the middle of them, and we're going to place a weighted pressure plate as a table topper. You can use carpet, you can use anything. We're going to have the same sort of thing here, just like off to the side where we have this red concrete. We'll place the stairs in front and then a weighted pressure plate on top like that. Maybe we'll even place a chair on the opposite side too, to kind of like make it a double. And we'll do the same thing going all the way around the restaurant like this. So here, one on the opposite side here, place all of the fences to make them tables. So all the tables just like this. And there you go. I mean, that already populates the area quite a bit. What I like the idea of is using these pillars, the two inside parts of the pillars, to kind of place some fence like this, right? And then to have some more seating, kind of like this. So just like that. Looking pretty good. And then we can place the table toppers on like this, and then you've kind of just got some single seats. And that kind of like fills things up nicely. It really does. I mean, you could even bring the pillars inwards a little bit so that these chairs aren't touching, or you could just remove that particular set of chairs and just have one set. You'd probably want to bring the pillars in, actually, to be honest. So let's just make that change there. Maybe perhaps I placed the pillars in the wrong place to start off with, which would be my bad, but hey, you know, this is a whole learning process. So there we go, perfect. And then that way we can place the same set of, here we go, we can place the same set of tables and chairs and stuff. There we are, and then we have some clearance around it. So here, and then here as well. And again, you can place different stuff on the tables if you like. You can use carpets and stuff, or slabs, but yeah, there we are. That looks a lot better. You can stick like paintings, say like here's a good opportunity for a painting there. You can place lanterns here. That actually brightens things up nicely, so here. And then same sort of thing, we can have like a painting. That's a regular painting. And it just makes things nice. If you wanted potted plants, not really great places for them, or at least like floor ones. I mean, you could place them like here, say, but I'm actually quite happy with how this place looks. It's quite a simple vibe, but I think it's quite nice. I probably wouldn't tamper with it, although you can place some plants perhaps like next to the entrance here or something. But ladies and gentlemen, we kind of done. We have officially finished. This is what your Five Guys should look like once it has been 100% fully completed, ladies and gentlemen. I've shown you how to do the outside, I've shown you how to do the inside. We have pathways, we have leaves, we have green, we have car parking spaces, we have a sign, and on the inside we have none of those things. But we do have a seating area, we have a condiment area, we have more seating, we have lights, we have pillars, we have a place to get our food. What more could we possibly want? And that's it. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and click that little bell next to the subscription button to make sure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. If you would like to make any more city builds from me, check out the card system, description below, and the top of the comment section for the City Builds playlist. We build all sorts of stuff around here. It's not just fast food restaurants, although there is a lot of those, there's all sorts of stuff too. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!